Welcome race fans back to Deviant Racing League. My name is Webbo, here to enjoy the racing with you, and a big thank you for the invitation to come back. This is how things look for the start of our fall season, the season 4.3 for the GT World Challenge, the GTDPRO and GTD categories of as usual. September 7th, that's today. We're in Monza for the traditional chicane layout, well, the sort of new traditional chicane layout at least, for this season opener on the Italian Grand Prix day, of course, and we will look forward to seeing how the drivers take part in this qualifying session, which is just about to get underway. In fact, I believe it has just gotten underway. We've got the Red Bull Ring for the second. We go on to Kyoto, to Alsace, then the Nürburgring 24-hour layout. That's a welcome return back, to find then Bathurst and Road Atlanta. And hello to Larry, who joins us from the WEC race day at COTA. Clearly it's not quite as thrilling as being here with us live at Deviant Racing. We have Road Atlanta finishing the season, which is eerily similar to the end of season race that is coming up on this channel later today. There's an end of season race at that very track with full day night, hopefully day transition being planned as well. This is a fascinating setup then for the season to come, and the teams have been mixed up as usual. I just need to make sure that we get your team information here on screen. So we have the all new team names for the most part. The return of Team Mountain Dew, but Team Drive Through Racing, Copa and Creamy will compete in the GTD Pro League here in the Ferrari 458 Italia. We have Charles Daddy and Roy Mustang racing for Team Rookie Racers, as well, I think, as Dog Eater and Roy Mustang Jr. Possibly. No, I think it's Dog Eater and Roy Mustang who take part in another league that I'm aware of as well, and enjoy. And John Kai joining us from a trashy breakfast diner. Awesome. And John Kai goes straight into P1 in the live chat leaderboard. We've got Mountain Dew, Glovas and Preston back together again, reunited, and it feels so good with Team OG next. Zen and Junkai in the Renault RS as well. The Mountain Dew are back in the Mercedes. Team Distinguished, fine distinguished gentlemen as they are, will be in the Lamborghini Huracan, Facia and Vic, with Bongit and Chaotica joining forces for Team Cross Border Competition. Team Michelin Speedstars are not appearing on this screen right now, but they are Izzy and TX Speedstars as well in the Ford GT, which is great to see that back, and I will keep referring to that later on. It looks like qualifying is getting underway for you. Let's get you trackside. There is Dad and Son Rex, and it is supposed to be a start of the new football season set up for today. I'm not quite sure why we were going off and having problems there, but hopefully things will get back to normal. I think qualifying might have had a glitch, possibly. We're waiting to get out on track, so we'll see if there is a problem. Kuros Kai asking how Junkai's eggs are being served. So restarting, thank you, is the information I've got from Doof. Restarting lobby for a fair qualifying, so it was just drivers letting off a little bit of steam there. So we'll just quit out and get ready for the restarted lobby. While we do that, I'm delighted to present to you some team content introducing the start of the new football season liveries here for, well, you'll find out which team. if you have team content that you'd like to feature in the presentation, do let me have it the day before the live race. That was fantastic to see from the team, celebrating, of course, with the Miami Dolphins livery. Even I can spot that one as a as a casual NFL fan. Team drive-through racing using the Miami Dolphins, which has a dual a dual appeal and relevance for Karma Copa. Not only is it where he lives, but it's kind of what he does as well, in terms of career. So it's great to see everything lining up beautifully there. We're waiting for qualifying to get underway. Let's get you some vroom vroom cars to watch while that happens, and we'll have some fun watching. Let's see Izzy then in his new presentation. We'll of course do our usual plan with safety car livery checks and everything. I was informed from the bosses earlier that GTDPRO will be the safety car is between laps 11 and 22. Big wide open opportunity there for everybody, as it looks like Dog Eater has just managed to join in as well, but clearly celebrating the Ravens here for Izzy. Who else have we got? Anybody else on track? Apparently not. Izzy's got the track all to himself. So that's fantastic, and hopefully we'll get some information. But I appreciate Doof just letting us know about the restarted lobby there. That was very useful. So Kuroskai saying, I think they misspelled Thrasher and put Trasher on that one. On the livery, are we talking about? Okay, I think that's qualifying about to get underway. Let's just double check that qualifying is indeed beginning. We'll get the buzzer, and we will. There it is, and we'll hear that that it will get underway for us. We like the driver names on at Deviant, and we'll get all the race information on as well. And I can see straight away Zen's Renault in traditional Renault racing colours as well. To some extent, there's a great Webbo sticker there as well on the yellow stripe across the top. But I have to say that I am a little bit betwixt and between explanation as to what football team this one is. So help me out, because I'm not seeing any insignia or indication that is a football team that I can recognise. I did notice that Dad and Son, our Dutch combination, have possibly misunderstood that it is in fact the the American football start of the season, not the soccer start of the season, and they've gone for their favourite football team, Ajax, from the Netherlands. But I'm guessing that is a deliberate choice. So there we go. Chargers, says Kuros Kai, possibly. Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure, but yeah, good to hear. But maybe those are just the new team colours, and they do look very good on the Renault, I have to say. Vic, our Italian driver, has gone for Gucci sponsorship. No definitive football team livery there potentially. Could be the Steelers in that colour scheme, if I know my NFL teams correctly, but black and gold. But he's certainly got prominent Gucci sponsorship on the car. Asian Persuasion, otherwise known as Dog Eater, is also in the Lexus, and he's in the Bulldogs livery, the RCF GT3 car I've spent quite a lot of time in, one way or another, on one sim or another as well. But we're getting ready then, and we're going to go over and see Zen on the first flying lap here in the Renault as we head down towards the Red Filio chicane. College, not NFL for AP, thank you. Okay, and through we go then. AP being not a team name. There we go. So Rookie Racers, there, as they're joining from another league, and will be taking part here. This through the Rettifilo chicane. We're heading through Curva Grande and down towards the Della Roggia chicane. You can skip that first curb between the two wheels, either side, and heading down then in towards Lesmo 1. Lots of speed can be carried through here. We'll see if this is another season where a French manufactured GT3 car will be OP. I'm hoping we've got rid of the OP cars, but Who knows? Out of Lesmo 2, try and avoid the gravel on the outside. Curva del Serralio is just this left-hand slight little kink underneath the old oval circuit, and then heading to a slightly crested approach in towards Ascari corner. Now, you have to push in Monza like crazy to extract the maximum lap time. You trim out your cars with minimal downforce, and then corners, every corner becomes a very, very tricky place to maintain adhesion throughout the course of a race stint. Down towards the Alboreto Parabolica. I tend to call it Parabolica, even though it has changed name recently. And a very long corner before you can cut this this track. You can actually go all the way across underneath the podium presentation there if you want to. Zen P1, or was that just the outlap? I think possibly for Zen straight away. Here is Glovas in the low growling Mercedes AMG. He's managed to go through and get a toe there on his third lap. Fassiar is the fastest, ahead of Zen. Fassiar with 150.035. Here comes Dad and Son to cross the line. Not the only, well, it is the only Dad and Son, because Roy Mustang, Dad and Son, literally race senior and junior, often throughout the course of races or endurance events. And on the other side, on the other league that I commentate for, they appear in both the top and not top division on a Saturday, so that's good to see as well. Dad and Son in 4th, TX Speedstars in 5th, Vic in 6th at the moment. Very close, very, very close at the moment. 3rd downwards, we've got Vic in 6th. We've got Comacopa, a mammoth 1/10 of a second behind Vic right now here in the Ferrari, at its home circuit, of course, for Team Drive Through Racing. Of course, they'll be able to avoid drive-through penalties in GT7. This is the Ferrari then that we expect to be completely unchallenged off the grid starts. As Doof's saying that Sun is running the GTD. Fantastic, that's great, that's great. So we see both of them appear at different points. So they'll be swapping, they'll be literally driver swapping in the rig for the follow-on race. In towards Parabolica for Comacopa. He's currently P7. Quite often around where he qualifies, Comacopa. And then just gaining that extra little bit, but heading in towards the pit lane. So not pushing on this third lap then. This is Asian Persuasion. This is this is Dog Eater, as we know him from elsewhere, but I will refer to his on-screen name as he tries to cut the track a little bit to minimise the distance covered, and he goes up to 6th place with a personal best on this lap, and then resets straight back to the pit lane. And we've got TX on his outlap. We've got Comacopa doing the same. Let's see if we can find... Oh, Vic has nabbed that pole position ahead of Glovas now. Vic on a 149.623. And Vic is looking very, very good indeed out there. Let's have a look. Vic in the Lamborghini, in the Lamborghini, as he heads downhill towards the Della Roggia chicane. The two Lexi in front of him. And dipping a wheel or two over into the gravel on the exit of Della Roggia. That's a risky game to play. But he's trying to do his best here. Of course, the very front-heavy Lamborghini tail gets quite slidey, a little bit like the Porsche, but in complete opposite geometry. Preston with a new personal best, but Vic is still the fastest ahead of Glovas and Fascia. Vic a 149.623. Several drivers under the 1:50 mark. Vic, though, going no faster on this run. Here is Glovas in the AMG, coming through that Parabolica corner for the Texans and the Oilers, it would seem. Heading down towards the start-finish straight, and there's no faster on this lap from Glovas. He was pushing hard, but no advantage there. We are over 3/4 of the way through qualifying, so the time is running out for anybody to impact their lap. This is Zen. He's just gone through the Ascari corner. We're expecting lots and lots of Ascari incidents today. Number 83 then for Zen in towards that Alboreto Parabolica. Is it the Alborolica? Is it the Paraboletto? Let's see as we go out of that corner and head down towards the start-finish straight. And Zen, no quicker on that lap, but I think he's pushing for this lap now. It's Vic, Glovas, and Fascia as we'll join Zen back at least for the first sector and see if he gets purple on the way through. That will click on after Curva Grande and just in the braking zone for Della Roggia. Building the speed then. Nice sounding car, this turbo Renault RS. Going downhill, and it's a personal best, but it's not by enough here at all. Preston has gone into third place. There he is, Preston into P3, and it's Glovas and Preston till Mountain Dew reunited in second and third positions at the moment. That's fantastic from them. Where is Vic right now? He is just screaming through that Ascari corner directly behind one of the Lexus drivers. So that is an interesting situation for him. He has got the chance then now to push. Team Rookie Racer car in front of him. Not sure if that is Charles Daddy or Roy Mustang in front. And running then through the next corner we go. A little bit of that toe coming for Vic, and it's a new fastest lap. It's a 1:49.367 for Vic in the Lamborghini. I don't believe the Lamborghini is back to being completely dominant, but wow, a great lap from Vic. This is Glovas then. How is he doing on his run in towards Ascari corner? It's 4/10 slower. It's definitely the final lap for everybody now. That is 3/10 slower for Preston as well in the AC/DC Detroit Lions, it seems. Bonget is only managing 5th position right now in the Porsche. That was a new fastest lap from Asian Persuasion up to 6th position, and there is Bonget setting a fastest of anybody lap. Oh, that looked a little bit messy, but he's cut out. Time is over for the race, so it is Vic who secures pole position. I think possibly Bonget had a shot there in the Porsche, but it's not to be. So Vic on a 49.367, beating Glovas by nearly 0.4 of a second in the end. Tremendous qualifying from Vic. Preston in third. And Fascia starts on that second row, also in the 1:49s, just scraping under the 1:50s. Bonget in P5 alongside him will be the first of the Lexus drivers. Asian Persuasion. Then comes Zen and Dad and Son in on row 4. Row 5 is Komakopa and TX with Chaotica, Creamy, Izzy behind them, and Sully is driving our what appears to be possibly unbranded safety car, or a very subtly branded safety car for this season. So this sets us up for a fascinating race. I hope you enjoyed qualifying, and we'll be ready for racing very, very soon. I'd love to hear your predictions in the live chat if you are doing. Curious Kai, thank you so much for that safety car. Lap 13, unlucky for some. It will be safety car on lap 13 for our drivers. So I imagine they will be using the medium tyres for the first stint, because that is relatively quick in terms of our race time that will be running. It will be a 60-minute race, and those laps will go through. Thank you again to Chaotica as well. But yeah, let me know who you think is going to be able to start this season off with a bang, with a podium today. You can pick 3 drivers for your podium predictions. Looks like all is dry and good, and an early September Italian afternoon just outside of Milan. Possibly hence the Gucci branding there on Vic's Huracan with team. I would say no, excuse me. Vic's Huracan on Team Distinguished. I think they might be using luxury brands this season exclusively, and I'm not sure if they're representing the Steelers or not. But yeah, fantastic to see that qualifying performance from Vic. back as a full-time driver, it seems, and back on top as well. So tremendous stuff from the Italian at home. And, well, it's only appropriate, really, isn't it? We have an Italian driver in an Italian car with an Italian sponsor in Italy on pole position. Let's see what the race will bring, though. This will be a fascinating journey into the new season 4.3, and we're about to get underway. Safety car lap 13, as I've been reliably informed. I'm grateful for that as we get our screen and everything ready for you. Vic, Glovas, Preston, Fascia, have a look for any trouble down into the first few corners as we get ready to start a new season of racing here at Deviant Racing. The 5 red lights are almost on in Monza. And it's dropped the clutch and go. Look for those Ferraris in the Miami Dolphin livery to jump forward here as the 2 at the front, the first position and second position, try to hog that lane into the inside line. It looks like Preston and Glovas absolutely together here. In fact, too close together are teammates as they run in. Glovas went way too long onto the brakes, cuts across the line of traffic. Unfortunately, I have to say that was a little bit clumsy from Glovas, who then spins slightly, crossing over other drivers' avenue. He has to do something like that in order to avoid danger, as the medical car Sully has managed to overtake Izzy at the start of the race. Izzy has struggled. Preston, Vic and Zen will continue to fight on the way down into Della Roggia. Zen is more defensive than he is offensive on the way through the corners, and it looks like it is nose to tail throughout the rest of the field as we run through. There is Alexis having a look down on the Porsche on the way into Lesmo 1, but no way through for them. Preston leads Vic, leads Zen. Zen with a monumental start, and Komakopa up from that P7 as well. Looking terrific, both Zen and Koma at the front here. Fascia is the one that is seemingly struggling to be caught up between other drivers, but we must have another look at that start. Well, I would say at that start, but unfortunately I've not caught it in the replay buffer, sadly. But down we go. Creamy then offline, trying to get the inside line, climbing all over the apex, and then it's contact mid-Ascari with Chaotica. Glovas trying to recover here, and Chaotica gets by with Creamy right there with him as well. The Porsche then struggling, but not as much as the Ford GT. Hardly a surprise that a Ford isn't going well in Europe. It seems to be the way, but there is Preston in P1 all the way across the white line, risking track limit problems on his way through. Zen in P3 with Vic there alongside him. Then we've got a 4-way battle heading down into the Reds of Filio chicane. That looks like Asian Persuasion has got the inside line on all of them, but there goes Komakopa round several drivers into that 4th place. Asian Persuasion getting 2 drivers, I do believe, on the way through. Let's have another look at that one from perhaps the rearmost driver here. This looks like it is, well, it looks like possibly it's the Porsche. So there's Fascia, Asian Persuasion diving down the inside. Komakopa managing to navigate his way through, and then a little bit of traction oversteer on board with Bongit, sadly. But Fascia in P6, Asian Persuasion in 5th, and at the head of the field we've got Preston ahead of Vic and Zen as they were before. How is Zen doing? Well, it looks like he jumped forward at the start, but is struggling now to live with the pace of Vic and Preston up ahead. Looks like hard tyres on Vic's car. He's going to try and use the mediums for more than half the race, in my estimation anyway, or possibly just on half the race after we get back underway following the safety car, which will be running on lap 14 or 15 will go green. We've changed the safety car restart rules, more about that later, but Preston leads then in the Lions livery there. So he is obviously looking very good. I believe he's got his friend's situation there. So there we go. Doof saying left off the pro. So Son for Dad and Son is racing today. Wow. Fantastic. He is, I think, 10 or 11 years old in the Dad and Son livery in the Ajax Lexus rather than the Bulldogs Lexus. And heading down then the start-finish line we go again. Let's see if Komakopa can resist Bongit, who's going to have a very late opportunity down into that chicane. No way through. Bongit playing it safe at this stage. There is the 10 or 11-year-old driver for dad and son in the Ajax colours in P8. And there is Chaotica for the Bucks for his new team in the Porsche, with Creamy in 11th, Glovas in 12th place, and newly seated in his Ford GT, Izzy at the very back, but on the hard tyres, so hoping to pick up some pace later on. Stay on the lead lap and all is good as Izzy, racing in VR as well, continues through. There is the subtly branded, it is branded, but it's quite subtle on the Deviant Racing League safety car waiting in the pit lane then, as Preston leads us now by 2.1 seconds, and he started this race on the soft tyres. That has to be a tough battle, and it just underlines Vic's pace here as he's still in second place on the hards when the first place driver is on the soft tyre. Asian Persuasion then in P4, chasing down Zen. This will be fascinating. I don't think they've shared the racetrack in a top tier race here at Deviant before. Zen will have a few question marks in his mind, I think, about whether Asian Persuasion is someone he can race with and trust into the corners. The Georgia Bulldogs for the Lexus team here, the Team Rookie Racers. And then look at this slipstream behind the Renault. This has got to be an easy opportunity now for Asian Persuasion, perhaps leaving it just a tad too late on the way down into the Retifilio. Zen will try and hold on around the outside, will he, or will he focus on getting a better exit and then fighting through the Curva Grande? I think the latter was definitely true there. Komakopa has slipped down to 6th position. I don't know if I can catch exactly why that was in the replay. Here he is. No, indeed. He was running in P4 earlier on, Komakopa. So on the hard tyres in the Ferrari, which flatters to deceive often at the start of the stints, and suffers a little bit, ironically, really, from outright top speed, even, and that is a big problem here at Monza, of course. Embarrassing for the Italian manufacturer. Asian Persuasion, the first time in a while, he has just been able to see the racetrack in front of him and lost his bearings and drifted off through the Lesmo corners. I just noticed a pride flag on the banner there of Asian Persuasion's windshield. So happy Pride season to those who celebrate. We have Zen in 4th, we have Fassiar in 5th, and Komakopa in 6th, with Bongit in 7th, Dad and Son, and it is indeed Son here in P8. Chaotica in 9th, TX in that 10th place. The Ford GT, not the car to be in, it seems, here in Monza, but TX is going to go racing nonetheless. No apparent football team support on the TX Ford GT here. This is the Michelin Speedstars, who are wearing some Ripple branding, I believe. Better not say that wrong. As we head down on this three-way, then down the main straightaway here, Retifilio Tribune, before heading into the Retifilio chicane. Will TX decide to go for it? No, but Creamy is looking for one. That was a turn in there late in the phase from TX. That's certainly how I read it the first time. Let's have a look from behind here. Creamy, I think, made a late decision, and I think the door was closed somewhat prematurely here by TX. In fairness, Creamy wasn't fully alongside then, but TX could have given a little bit more room and not had a problem on the way through the corner. There's the Chargers then, the blue and the yellow of Creamy. He is in the Ferrari as well. Is that right? Yes, so he is in the drive-through racing, but he's gone for the Chargers rather than the Dolphins, as of course we get to wear our football pride. There is Izzy right behind him. And oh, that's nasty from Izzy, just over the edge, and he's already dinged up the front fender on the Ford GT in in that Ravens livery. Preston leads then. Vic is now struggling to hang on as Asian Persuasion has found a little bit of pace down the back straightaway, down towards the Parabolica corner, as Asian Persuasion will be hoping that his Lexus can grip in and get him fired out of that corner. He's looked good so far. The Lexus is a quick car. It does burn its tyres a little bit heavier than the drivers around him. He's struggling a little bit for lag possibly. Relative to Vic, so they'll have to be wary of that and just leave that extra little bit of margin for error. Down we go, and he pulled to one side, but he didn't dare risk it on the brakes. Asian Persuasion just keeping the pressure on, and there goes Vic off onto the gravel, and that should help Asian Persuasion now. Through Curva Grande, he'll have a better run here, and he'll have to pick his lane. One left or right here. Larry said, told you not to sleep on Noah. Asian Persuasion. Absolutely. So down we go. The only contact I had in my 6 hours of Suzuka was with Dog Eater, I have to say. So yeah, I couldn't quite read the rights or the wrongs of that one. I thought I left room into Degna 1. It turns out I probably didn't quite. Here goes Bongit down the inside. That is a nice move from Bongit, and I think that was partly as a result of a problem coming through the chicane there from Comacopia. It got too much curb on the entry, and here comes Bongit, just ready to take advantage as soon as possible. Cross-border competition, the new team name, and down we go into Lesmo 1. Very handy overtake then from Bongit. We'll see if Coma is back in retaliation here, heading into the Ascari corner. And I don't know the football team, unfortunately. Who have we got? The Argonauts, the Toronto Argonauts. Wow. Okay. Is that the CFL? Here comes Comacopa in the Ferrari down the inside lane on the heading into Parabolica. It's lower grip on the way there. Jim's saying, yeah, it is the CFL. Thanks, Jim. So Comacopa, it's not one of those situations where there is a Canadian team in the NFL. It is like in hockey, I think. But again, I don't know. I don't know it particularly well. It's a nightmare for me, football season here at Deviant. Comacopa and Bongit going side by side down into Retifilio. Again, Bongit does have the straight line speed legs on the Porsche, and there he goes. Cross-border competition, US, Canada, NFL, CFL. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. And there is Dad and Son just paying a watching brief. I wonder if Larry's been involved in bringing these drivers in. Because we did upset the order somewhat, and it's possible we upset some drivers as well, some established drivers, by completely reordering and requalifying the entire field instead of just trading the few places in the playoffs as usual. I think the feeling was perhaps that the divisions were too different. And so we've completely requalified the entire community into GTDPRO and GTD, and GTD will now be going back to driving the GT4 cars as well, so they won't be well prepared for promotion, but it does give us a bit of variety in the car manufacturers. Vic is down in 3rd position, and Asian Persuasion has got by. I hope we haven't missed that. Unfortunately, it looks like we have missed. Asian Persuasion's passed then for 2nd place. Vic in that P3. There have been precious few track limit penalties being paid actually out of Ascari so far in our race. It is lap 7. We're waiting for the safety car on lap 13. It's getting a bit cloudy actually overhead as well here in Monza. I don't think we've got any rain likely. Here comes Fascia then with Zen. Nose to tail, then side by side of Fascia, completely clean across the front of Zen, who continues to challenge down into the braking zone. Fascia gets that wedge-shaped Lamborghini Huracan neat and tidy through there. I think we did see some challenges on the way just behind. It's not going to eventuate. But Dad and Son putting the pressure on Comacopa. Another VR driver here, as is, I believe, Preston and definitely Izzy. Preston leading. Let's go check out where is Preston right now. He is 4.9 seconds in the lead. Couldn't be happier, I think, to be back in the Mercedes AMG. I wasn't expecting the AMG to be this strong here today, but he certainly has got this down really nicely. So great to see from him. Asian Persuasion in P2. He's on the soft tyres, just like Preston, and making those tyres last a reasonable distance so far. Vic getting into the sweet spot on lap 5 on the hard tyres. Had a bit of a slow lap 7 in the end, as Saito is cheering on Preston here. So that is the teammates in Team Mountain Dew, but across divisions. Saito and Kuroskai are in the Mazda Group 4, the Mazda 3 Group 4, I should say, for their race, which will be coming up on this channel as soon as possible via replay. We've just had a scheduling clash for this one weekend. I'll get that done as quickly as I can, as soon as my voice is recovered from race day Sunday. Here is Zen. Look at these clouds. This is a pretty frightening prospect above the drivers at the moment. They'll be slightly concerned if we join Zen on board, as see his view here out of the windshield, and the sky's definitely darkening, and the track temperatures will be cooling, which I think will bring this stint towards the soft tyre runners at the front there, Preston and Asian Persuasion. Bongit there still ahead of Komakopa, Dad and Son in 8th. Then we've got Chaotica, who is starting to bring himself into contention. There is Creamy and Glovas. Was that an overtake or a defence? Potentially from those two. We'll see this again. Looks like Creamy picking the middle of the road, and unfortunately for Preston, sorry, for Glovas, choosing the wrong direction. Creamy, though, outbraking himself, hanging on to his position, but not exactly super clean, unfortunately. A little bit of contact through there. TX looking super wild in the Ford GT, and Izzy locked in battle behind him. The two Ford GTs on the hard tyres are just praying for this stint to be over, and the understeer is real for the Ford GT, unfortunately. There is Preston leading the race then now by 5.6 seconds, as Vic has been passed by Vassiar now. I wonder if that was coordinated at all. We'll have a look. Here is Vassiar. Yeah, there is Vic braking very, very early. Certainly it seemed anyway. The brake lights coming on. So releasing his teammate, Vic and Vassiar. Vassiar on the medium tyres, so he should have more speed at this stage. Excuse me for just leaving that on just for a second too long. But Preston, Asian Persuasion, Vassiar and Vic, followed by Zen in the Renault RS04. Bongit is in 6th place, kicking up that dirt and dust off the track underneath the iconic podium, with Komakopa, Dad and Son, and Chaotica out in P8. Let's go back to Vassiar and Vic then, who are running line astern. I have to say, Vic's livery a little bit more distinguished for the distinguished gentleman there in P3 and 4. Do like the black to gold fade on Vic's car. Slightly more than Vassiar's, but I'm sure you have all got different opinions. Who's your pick of the livery so far? Do remember to get involved and enjoy that. I don't know if, because Larry's not racing, whether Gus, Charlie and Alex are busy watching, and I can get a thumbs up from Gus. We've got a yellow flag on the circuit. I'm not sure who that is for. It must be Preston, I do believe. So let's have a look for Preston from P1. Here he is. What happened to Preston? Oh, dear me. That's off on Lesmo 2. And then that is a big problem for him, with damage on the car as well. Preston losing the car through Lesmo 1, through Lesmo 2 exit. And that is him on the way out. And he's on the soft tyres, so probably part of that situation. He's made a calculation that the softs are the valid, or a valid race tyre today, as did Asian Persuasion. And if Asian Persuasion can hang on till lap 12 here on the softs, I think it will be an absolute miracle. In comes Zen as well to get his tyres on. So I wonder whether it's more about the fact that the hards will run a very long period on the race than it is about whether the softs are valid or not. Let's see what happens. They could one stop and go for it. Kuras saying he's well aware of his need to two stop potentially, but typically you have to say that the Lexus is one of the highest tyre dead cars, and he's now holding up the medium tyre shod Fascia. But Asian Persuasion with the top speed of the Lexus does appear to still be able to hold off Fascia for this point anyway. But I think probably headed towards the pit lane. There is the fastest lap for Asian Persuasion, a 1:49.9 so far. There are many drivers who couldn't get that in qualifying, so that is tremendous with race fuel on as well. 4th lap only, and Asian Persuasion taking that Lexus to a 1:49.9 is a tremendous fastest lap so far. We'll see if it still stays that way, but the fuel is definitely becoming a factor now for the drivers to get through to this lap 13. I wonder, you know, if we have a later safety car later on in the season, whether the fuel is actually going to last them, because it says 2 more laps on the fuel at this stage. So whether we've dropped the fuel starting amount as well, or if it's just this track, time will tell. I'm sure you'll let me know if we have dropped the starting fuel amount or given some freedom to the drivers to make that decision, but it looks uniform for them. Surely Asian Persuasion now on the way into the pit lane at the end of lap 11 before the safety car comes in, as does Fascia and Vic together. So no difference between Fascia and Vic. They're coming in banking on the safety car, and Bongit will do the same. So safety car will be on their way out very soon, and we will have had the top 6 at least have got their pit stops out of the way. Creamy running out of fuel as well. And it's going to be a very high fuel usage race here today. And Izzy in from 8th. Everybody doing the same thing, although this is the 2nd pit stop for Zen. So he did a 1 lap on the hards. He's dropped himself down to 9th position. Preston was early in the pit lane, fat with fuel, done 1 lap on the hards. He's going to trade off, I think, probably for the medium tyres now, but not have to use any time in the pits for refueling. TX is in P11, and Chaotica is going by the pit lane. There's lots of drivers are on their way out of the pit lane. They're still at racing speed, so no cheap pit stops for these drivers. Just check out Glovas, who has already made his pit stop as well. This is absolutely fascinating then, as the drivers emerging here before the safety car comes out. It will come out at the end of this lap, and Asian Persuasion is nearly pushing Fascia around Curva Grande. He's got the better braking zone on the way into the next corner, but he's very late on the brakes, allows Vic to slide through. Wow, that was quite the exchange there, and Vic is now chasing Fascia on the way through. Let's follow this from Vic's point of view, as Asian Persuasion looking a little bit impatient possibly behind Fascia, who puts him in the outside lane, and then Asian Persuasion perhaps, whoa, so close to disaster on the way out of that corner. That was tremendous to see, but I think here we go, back to racing speed then, waiting for that safety car, who is about to get his refueling done. He needs to get a hurry on, really. Better to be early than to be late for the safety car driver, as the Lamborghinis head the field then, and will do so throughout the duration of the safety car, I do believe, as we run through. Kuros Kai into P1 in the chat leaderboard. There's Komakopa in P4. He had a nice quick pit stop and has leapfrogged back ahead of Bongit. Where is Vic? Waiting for the safety car to make his appearance. Here he comes then. Sully on his way out, or Doof as he's known in the live chat today, if I've got that correct, and he's out in plenty of time, making sure that he doesn't fall foul of any track limit abuse situations. And Vic is slowing for safety car period. Now here is the beautiful gold and black Gucci livery for the distinguished gentleman in the Lamborghini Huracan. Very tasty looking livery. Slightly less refined possibly, but I'm sure a choice here for Fascia. There's a transfer on top of the car, and that looks like a snake of some description, but I don't think there is an NFL or CFL team or college football team who are the snakes. Some very distinguished sponsors on the grid there as well. We've seen the Bulldogs livery for Georgia, looking very good here. College livery. I do like how the drivers in the Lexus cars have gone for different takes on the same thing. Again, another roof sticker that I don't know. It says 100 maybe, but I'm afraid I can't see roof stickers very well at all. And as I get lucky with a camera, we had the presentation for the Dolphins for Team Drive-Thru Racing, and that is beautiful, absolutely stunning. Hats off to the designer there. Probably my pick today is the Dolphins, the well-known Toronto Argonauts for the Porsche team, and there is the CBC cross-border competition. Ajax for the Dutch racing team here, for the team of drivers, with Johan Cruyff as the signature on the front. But yeah, Ajax, a very big deal in European soccer for those that don't know. Then we've got the Bucks. There's a team I do know in the with Bud Light sponsorship as well, for the team, and looking very, very nice out there. The Texans will always feature on a Glovas livery. I'm sure he's got about 20 different Texans liveries just ready to go as Glovas, and there's a Webbo sticker on there as well. Thank you very much for the air intake, just behind the front wheel. We've got the Chargers. Nice chase lines and a good Ferrari HP brand. We needed HP branding on there as well, but the Ferrari and the I was going to say LA Chargers, but it's not LA anymore. Is that correct? I know you've already told me earlier on, but very good indeed. We've got the Detroit Lions. This is a good one. I do like this. I don't know what MCDC refers to, unfortunately. Motor City and Dan Campbell. Okay, and there is the Motubu sponsorship as well. I believe that is a friend's business and brand. This looks slick, I have to say. I like the choice of panel lines and shut lines there for the Ravens for Izzy. This would definitely be my second place, I believe, this time round. Number 182 for our VR driver Izzy, and yeah, a little bit of lovely detail on the car. I'm quite sure what the red and white section is representing. If it is just the Ravens badge, maybe, but appreciate the Webbo.com stickers on the back as well. This is a nice one from Izzy. Very, very detailed, very attractive looking livery as well. I would say third place for me from Izzy, and he's got the Motubo sponsorship as well. This is the Team OG, and I'm not quite sure what that refers to apart from Original Gangster, but I'm guessing that's not what they're going for. I'll need some information on the team. And then the Ripple sponsored for GT here, is that supposed to be a tuxedo? I don't think so. This is the Team Michelin Speedstars. I'm not seeing much in the way of Michelin sponsorship on the nose and the sun visor, but you don't often see both Michelin and Castrol together. There appears to be, there is a sword and 3-star logo possibly there with the T. I think that's going to be, is that the Titans? Oh, I don't know. I'm afraid, I'm not sure. But is that a Titans livery possibly from them? And there is our silver, Mercedes silver safety car. We did talk about the fact that rules have changed slightly this season. For the restart, we are switching to F1 restart rules. So the way I interpret that is that the safety car lights will go off. Vic will slow the field and become essentially the safety car, and he will get to pick when the field goes green. So no overtaking, single file only, and then Vic, or the leader of the race, will get to decide when we go racing and go to green flag conditions. The lights, though, still on Sully's car. You can't shut off safety car lights in game. I'm going to question that, Jim. I usually bow to your knowledge, but I am certain I've seen people switch off the safety car lights. But I'm not sure. But anyway, Vic is not taking any kind of hint at this. He will honk horn, and there was the horn. Fantastic, thanks Jim. And I did hear the horn, and now Vic is the safety car driver. He will control the pace of the field. He will control his tyre temperatures and his condition. He's on the soft tyres, so he will pit stop again as we go. Ambulance can switch on and off, says Saito. Thank you. Okay, that probably explains it. Vic is taking his time around Curva Grande, and he wants to leave this the last possible moment, I think. I think he has hit the accelerator now. We do go green flag racing for the remaining 30.5 minutes of this race, and Vic leads, but he's on soft tyres and a heavy set of fuel as well. So Vic, I'm sure, will not reach the end of this race. Medium tyres for Fassiar in P2. Asian Persuasion has the medium tyres on. They might reach the end of the race, but it's possible that we've got the fuel to a point now where the drivers will not be able to go. Creamy again, though, making contact through the Rettifilo chicane, and I think that got in the way of Izzy's progression through there. Let's have another look for that one. We'll have a look here, and this is we'll ride with the Chargers livery here. Creamy going on the outside and then going for a gap down the inside here and making contact with Izzy, not really getting the nose turned across. And Izzy then has been overtaken by 3 cars in the course of the Rettifilo chicane. And they continue to race incredibly hard as we go into the Lesmo section in the forest that no longer is forest. I've just learned today on the Grand Prix. Loads of the trees were blown over in a storm, and the track design hasn't been updated to take into account that no longer the tree coverage on the outside there. But we've got Asian Persuasion, Creamy, Zen, TX and Izzy all together, and in fact Komakopa's right there as well in the group ahead of this run. So the medium tyres may make the end of the race, but these drivers have not fully fueled the cars. I'd love to hear, have we made a change to the fuel consumption rate? Because it does appear like we're trying to push this into a 2-stop race, unless this is just special for Monza. There is Chaotica against Glovas side by side through the Parabolica. Glovas is hung completely out to dry. He may not take very kindly to that treatment, and Preston will see it all happen in his mirrors. Let's have a quick recheck of that one. This is Preston. I want to say this is Preston on the outside run. Yeah, it was Preston on the outside there. And then both cars getting the switchback. Preston making contact with the barrier. No, it wasn't. It was actually, it was Glovas who was pushed wide, unfortunately. Back to live action then, as we run into the Rettifilo chicane. Fuel and tyres are both at 4 times. It's actually up. So it is up. Fuel usage is up from last season. So that probably is explaining it slightly. Vic is generating a huge lead at the moment, but he does have to make a pit stop as Komakopa has got himself into P2 here on the medium tyres as well. Let's see if we can just track what happened with Komakopa. He's already made his way past here and looking very good on the mediums. Tyres can make the end of the race, but the fuel likely won't. We'll see if we've got anybody on the hard tyres here for the end of the race, or is it going to be a medium and soft tyre dominating race strategy? Bongit in 3rd, Dad and Son in 4th place. And this is, as I say, this is the son of Dad and Son. A 10 or 11-year-old, depending on who's given you latest information, or if we're rounding up to the nearest year. Here he is, the 88, making his way through Ascari corner. And that was very close with Preston, but a great exit there. And getting tucked up behind Bongit, usually racing in ACC. GT7 a lot more forgiving in its handling model, and especially in its track limits. You can put 2 wheels off the racetrack in GT7. You cannot do that in ACC without losing time, so you've got to be a lot more accurate and sensitive on the brakes as well. Asian Persuasion in P8. There is Zen wearing a penalty, one of the first track limit penalties we've seen so far on the coverage, and Zen is going to disappear backwards then, and he's on the soft tyres. We've got no hard tyres at the back of the grid here. Vic, 6.3 seconds is Vic's lead for the distinguished gentleman, and Komakopa in P2 by 1.3 seconds ahead of Bongit and Dad and Son, who are locked in here. in battle, as Daddenson going a long way round the Curva Grande, or at least faking that way anyway, into the setting sun of Monza. I think there was a tiny bit of contact on the way in towards this Della Roggia chicane. Daddenson holding onto the inside lane, and a beautiful overtake in the end. That was high jeopardy, high reward for Daddenson there as he comes through round that Curva Grande. And so I think we made contact as we're trying to change lanes here, possibly. As we head on through. Yeah, there was definitely contact there. Bongit not really sticking to the racing line fully to the right. He doesn't have to, of course. And then further, just little touch on the way through, but Daddenson completing a nice overtake then. Clean from his part as far as I could see on that one. Bongit chasing him down in the Porsche. Down that through under the old track and around Ascari corner. This is super difficult then as you're running through Ascari nose to tail. You miss your braking reference points. You can easily either slam into the back of the car in front, lose your front aero performance, or just understeer very wide on the exits of the corners as well. So through Parabolica we go. There is Bongit right with Daddenson. I can see that this Porsche is going to have the legs with the benefit of the slipstream as well. Over the start-finish line there will go as Daddenson decides that he's going to peel to the right-hand side. The headlights come on as well with the low light conditions as we head down into that Retifilio chicane. The Lexus on the inside. Bongit clean around the outside, but he'll be struggling on the exit. He understeers wide. Thankfully for his sake, Chaotica and Daddenson come together then through the Retifilio. Daddenson losing 2 positions through that exchange and then trying to tuck back in underneath the Porsche. This time of Chaotica as we head down in towards the Della Roggia chicane then, and Daddenson down 2 places but still very much in the fight here, but with a little bit of extra work to do. The ideal line is to just brush that Cheeto curb on the second part of the Della Roggia chicane just to help turn the car, but not launch it in the air like this. Thank you, Kirk, who's assisting with the well wishes. Here is Glovas in his football livery as we run down behind Daddenson, and it is perilously close. Glovas on the soft tyres as well, needs to make some headway here. Launching one down the inside. That was a very late move, and he's very lucky to not come into blows. I see Glovas with the PSVR2 logo just very subtly on the inside of the air scoop there, so I think he's racing in the PSVR2, so props to him as we run down towards Parabolica. This is tremendous racing, except in the battle at the front of the race, and then Daddenson and Chaotica getting together in the Parabolica. Looks like Daddenson just lifting there so that he didn't take advantage. Tremendous maturity from him. But he is going to lose out on his way through the next run. I'll just replay that momentarily, but we'll see how they run down in towards the Retifilio chicane. Daddenson now, it's his turn with the slipstream. Chaotica just drifting right. Daddenson can't make his way through, but that leaves the door open for the Mercedes pairing to try and slip their way through, and there's no way through just yet. Let's have a look at Daddenson going into Parabolica then as he closes in on Chaotica. And he had to duck out to avoid just the difference between the braking potential of both cars, I think, there, but definitely waiting for a cleaner opportunity to make a pass. And hats off to him for that one as the sun continues to set here in Parco di Monza. And there it looked like, who was that? That was TX, super wild in the Ford GT as Fascia then makes his way through. Fascia up to P9. He's on his medium tyres. I don't know if they will make the end, or the fuel for anyone is going to make the end. Nobody on a huge amount of fuel right now. The lights in the missing body parts of the Ford GT do look very nice indeed. There is Zen in P12. Asian Persuasion down in P13, and I wonder, has he pitted late to get through to the end of this race? Although on the Lexus, I think it's going to be a struggle to get this car home on the fuel. Vic has no designs on making the end of this race without an extra pit stop, but he's building the gap here. Into the pit lane we go. The end of lap 19 with 22 minutes to go, 21.5 minutes to go to be absolutely precise, as Vic pits off the soft tyre. Komakopa's on the mediums in the Ferrari, and he goes by to take the lead of the race in his Miami Dolphins livery here for Team Drive Through Racing, and heads down into the Rettifilio. Bongit is catching a note, and Bongit is not letting Komakopa out of his sights, using those mediums quite nicely. And then it looks like we've got possibly a little bit of back and forth there. Facia up to P8, ahead again of TX Speedstars, following Glovas now. Facia in the Lamborghini is putting in a great stint here on the medium tyres, so going a little bit of a different option to his teammate Vic. Possibly he could be the first of the drivers who are running to the end. He hops over that Cheeto curb very neatly. Glovas has to defend on the way into Lesmo 1, and I think there's not quite the way through, but Facia will have a great run. It's almost looking a bit like a Batmobile, this Lamborghini, with the Gucci logos as well on the way through. So tucked up underneath that big, low-slung, fat Mercedes AMG is the nimble, if a little bit tetchy, Lamborghini Huracan. We run down into Ascari corner. You don't want to be stuck directly behind another car through here, but Facia has no choice about it. Be focusing on that exit, trying to get that double toe, but so will TX, who has an additional car to try and get the slipstream from. Here we go then, heading to just fabulous visuals there to see the cars screaming by the static camera. Facia making sure he holds on to the inside lane on the way through the Parabolica, and it is more than tricky as we run through. There's Glovas going into the pit lane, so Facia then will try to defend from behind the Ford GT of TX Speedstars and try and get some sort of slipstream going on the Chargers livery. Creamy in front of him, heading down towards the Rettifilio. The window is available to the AMG, who go to the Ford GT, I should say, who goes very, very deep on the brakes. Izzy might have a better run here on TX, and they'll be on the team radio trying to just coordinate this. Izzy is not able to get TX's attention sufficiently, and TX says, look, I'm in front, deal with it, as Creamy's in that P6. Daddenson in P5, chasing down Preston and getting a better line through the next corner. There is the Lexus versus the Mercedes AMG. Great to see all these different cars taking part, although I'm sure we will have some moaning in the latter part of the season, because one of the cars is bound to be OP, as the rumour had it that the Peugeot was last season. Zen's in 11th. Vic is down in 12th position after his pit stop, but putting in, I'm sure, some special times right now. Glovas is in 13th place. The leader of the race, though, is Komakopa. Now, he has the opportunity to try and get home, but I think the fuel is just not going to happen for him. He's got Tyreek freaking Hill on the rear quarter of the car. That is a very, very good-looking car, I've got to say. I think Komakopa was the designer as well, but you'll have to give me the information. I can usually tell a Glovas design because it has a signature element, and I don't think that is one of them. So Bongit with the fully painted rear view out of the back window, or at least it's well wrapped. Chaotica in third. That's a great position for him. Preston in fourth, Daddenson right there, and it really is still anybody's here, as we've got Izzy and Asian Persuasion. TX has got by Asian Persuasion. Izzy is having to try and put off a move here from the Georgia Bulldogs Lexus, as we run in, and very nicely handled from both cars there. Facia in that P6 at the moment. This is the view in Daddenson's Lexus then. He's got a clear track behind him almost, and we head down in towards this Della Roggia chicane. That is in fact a purple sector for the Lexus driver as he skips over both Cheeto curbs on the inside of the two apexes of the Della Roggia chicane, and we head in. You can't really abuse the curbs that much on the Lesmo corner, and then nicely out through there Not quite as quick, I think, as the AMG in front. Carrying a lot of speed into the corners, it seems, at the moment. Perhaps not quite getting the drive out of the corners. Certainly, it seems from my untrained eye. There is Preston in P4. He is chasing down a provisional podium position, but I think most drivers here will have to pit again, and if not, Vic is going to be right there to pick up the pieces. Let's see how far Vic is away. He is on the medium tyres for this last third of the race, and he's had to fuel almost full again, so clearly nobody else is going to make it home with the fuel. So it is definitely a two-stop race here for everybody. Kopa running low on the fuel at the moment and heading in towards the pit lane. So I think we will see him come back out behind Vic. I think he still had perhaps one extra lap left in the car, but he's elected to have the tyres in the best possible condition for the end of this race and try to head off any chance of Bongit getting an undercut on the older tyres right now, Bongit, although on lighter fuel load. And those mediums will still be in pretty healthy condition, so he may decide, given the amount of fuel he's got left, to use the softs at the end of the race and just go as long as he can. Preston, your new second place driver, with Dad and Son right behind him here. We'll have to wait to see how this all shakes out when it comes to the finish of the race. Dad and Son then P3, Preston P2. Behind them we've got Fascia and TX. The Ford in its highest position so far, I believe they're in P5. This is not the track, I think, for the Ford GT. Despite the fantastic power that it has, you do still need some semblance of maneuverability and TX in the Ford GT. It didn't last very long, I'm sorry to say, as we come through. Possibly picked up a little bit of dirt on tyres coming through Della Roggia, but just a bit happy on the throttle here out of Lesmo. Yeah, straight up onto and then over the curb. And unfortunately, that is problematic then, to say the least, for him. He'll have to pit now at the end of this lap, because I think that will affect his top speed. The damage has repaired, but it will have affected him quite significantly, and the tyres will be trashed to a certain extent. There is Asian Persuasion in P5. This race looking very good for the Lexus Rookie Racing group. We've got Bongit there as well. I can see we've got in the GT4s, in the Renault Megane Trophy, Binkit and Matty Ice for Team Rookie Races, still to come in the GTD series. Izzy going by the pit lane as well. So we will have a look down. It looks like Vic did stay ahead, considerably ahead of Kopa. As Vic in P5, your net leader of the race, who is fueled to a finish. Kopa, 7 seconds deficit to Vic, and it looks for all the world like Vic is uncatchable here in this season opener as he races at home in Parco di Monza, the temple of speed, and running then through that Retifido chicane for the 24th time is Kopa. We're down into the final 13 minutes of this fabulous season opener. 7 rounds of the season as usual. Only your best 6 scores count. There is Preston and Bongit, 7th and 8th positions, fighting over the midfield placings so far anyway, as Preston having fitted soft tyres and refueled. Absolutely perfect line through Della Roggia. That was textbook from Preston, and under pressure that was not an easy thing to do, and a lot of fuel on the car as well. But identical tyre selection there from Bongit as well. Chaotica has that P9 position. Just a little bit further back we've got Glovas in P10. These drivers all having pitted, all ready to reach the end of the race. Creamy in 11th, Zen in 12th place. An uncharacteristically quiet race from Zen so far. Just getting used to this Renault RS04, I think, with Asian Persuasion in P13. So at the moment we have a GTDPRO sandwich with Lexus acting as the bread, but into the pit lane comes Dad and Son, Fascia and Izzy. TX Speedstars following behind, and Vic then will resume his lead of this race. Let's see what Vic can do with the remaining parts of this race. Just a few short minutes left to run. Copa in P12. Lots of pit stops underway then, as Chaotica has a good shot at a podium, but it looks like he's been beaten out of the pit lane from Dadden Sun and from Fassiar. This will be tight on the way down. Fassiar still accelerating here. Chaotica near it. VMAX as we head into that Retifilo chicane, but Chaotica has recovered that place at least, so up to P6, but with tyres that are ready to go. Daddenson having to run so late into the race, I think, to try and bring those soft tyres into a usable window before they run out of grip before the end of the race. But that would be quite the debut here in the top tier of racing for Daddenson, as Bongit is in P4 and Preston in P3. Preston previously leading this race, of course, but Vic, since the first pit stop phase, has been peerless in this season. A slightly foreboding sense. I wonder if we're going to be experimenting with any success ballast in the 2026 the one starting with the number 5, because occasionally a driver just gets completely at one with their car, and here they are then leading the race by 7.5 seconds at a bit of a canter at this point. Vic had some other drivers to keep him company earlier on. Phenomenally impressive from Copa as well. Very usually a midfield racer in the top tier here at GTDPRO. Copa, I don't think that's being unkind. Occasional podiums, but often in the midfield. This opening race, though, looking really good. I think picking his car very well. Enjoying being team captain, I think, and fully dedicating, I think, to this Deviant Racing League this mini season here, season 4.3, as Preston and Bongit will go 3rd and 4th places. We'll see as Preston just miscalculates the run through the Retifilo chicane. I do like the idea that drivers put their name on their windshield loud and large. It is very helpful. Although, of course, we do run the gamer tags above the cars here at Deviant. But I am a fan of putting your name on the car in a prominent way, especially if we're not going to use racing numbers particularly prominently on the front view. Anyway, Bongit in 4th. Daddenson, I think, starting to catch here. He's only recently made his pit stop, getting those soft tyres working. But at the moment, looks like Bongit is the driver to watch, as he's just half a second away from Preston. Behind him, you can see the headlights only, really, of the Lexus of Daddenson in the Ajax colour scheme. You can even see the moon in the setting sun sky here of Parco di Monza. And we are continuing to remain at half a second away from the car in front. We've got Daddenson 5th, Chaotica 6th, Fassiar in the number 61. He's in P7. Glovas in P8. Izzy running P9 right now for the Michelin Speedstars. Creamy in 10th. Zen in 11th. TX and at the back, Asian Persuasion, who has not had the happiest third phase of the race, you'd have to say. Zen then looking like he might be able to make a move on Creamy. Still the leader is Vic, ahead of Copa and Preston. 7.5 minutes to go then in your race here to open our season. Zen in P11, half attack, half a defence on the way in here. Ultimately, though, things staying exactly as they were. But TX with a great drive out of the corner, and he's got the inside lane going through Curva Grande, and he's got the slipstream with the car behind. Asian Persuasion picking up a 1-second penalty that'll be paid on the way out of Ascari on this lap. So that was TX clear and ahead away from Zen in the end. And that looked like he was chasing the braking action into the apex of Della Roggia. Asian Persuasion struggling, I think, to convert between ACC and GT7 at this stage in the Lexus. Vic's lead is now 9.8 seconds. This is crazy stuff from Vic. And I'm sure the drivers are absolutely thrilled that Vic's back as our Italian here with his local knowledge and extra special engine in the car for this Monza round. Is absolutely bossing this race. Comacopa doesn't have it easy. He's still got Preston 3.3 seconds behind, and behind him is Bongit. In fact, alongside him is Bongit as Preston goes to the inside run through Parabolica, but the grip is on the outside. Generally speaking, Bongit is going to go all the way around, and they continue to go side by side. Brilliant racing room left from both of them. Bongit in the end getting ahead, and Preston will duck back under to try and get some slipstream on the approach to the Rettifilio chicane. Let's see if he dare brake later on the inside lane, or using that little bit of green painted asphalt on the exit to good effect there. Preston, beautifully timed really on the way through, and he picks up the pace coming out of the corner, but unfortunately just the car unable to quite live with the pace here of the Bongit Porsche combination. So this is nearing, it's the final 5 minutes of our race. Laps typically taking just under 2 whole minutes each. Lap 28 in the end. I think we will go through to 30 laps exactly for the 60 minutes of racing, because we of course had that slower couple under the safety car. Here is Dad and Son. Looks like we've got some kind of cow pattern on the helmet there for Dad and Son, as Preston in that P4 will be trying to get this podium. Everybody wants to start the season strong, not feel like they're having to chase the pace for the rest of the season, give themselves a bit of a cushion out there, but that's a little wide. Is there going to be a penalty applied to the P4 car? I think he's got away with that one. Wow, that was very, very tight indeed on the approach, on the exit of Ascari, and he ducks down. Can't quite get the overlap there, but he will get the get access to the better grip portion of the racetrack. And now coming on out of the next corner comes Preston. This should be possible now to get a good slipstream. Here we go, on the way past the Argonauts liveried Bongit, and beautifully done then in the end from Preston. Let's have a look at that from the trackside camera. It really took its time. He had to be so patient peeling across, as we are with the replay. Here we go then, Preston. Down we go in towards that Rettifilio chicane, and we just about make it neat and tidily enough. And back into P3 for Preston. It is Vic, Comacopa, and Preston. In fact, Daddenson now hassling Bongit, who may have used these tyres a little bit too heavily. Yeah, Bongit definitely struggling on the left-hand side of his tyres, of the car, sorry, in car number 80. The new cross-border competition team of who have we got? Bongit, Chaotica, Jim, and Dirksey across the two divisions. Daddenson following behind, but it is Vic, Comacopa, and Preston now in P1, 2, and 3. Daddenson right behind Bongit, and Bongit is certainly no slouch at all. That's very wide from Daddenson. Could we pick up a penalty potentially on the way out of Ascari? I think we just did enough on the throttle management on the exit there to avoid that issue, but fantastically through, and just on the edge of penalties potentially there. Chaotica in 6th, we've got Facia in 7th, and then a close battle for 8th position. I think that's Izzy just down the inside of Glovas in the AMG. The Ford GT though looking very, very nice out there in its Ravens livery. I don't know if we're holding these for next week, next round, or there'll be a different theme, or we'll be going to full-time team liveries. Glovas is right behind the Ford GT, which should have a good top speed as we head into the Rettifilio chicane. And Izzy consolidating that P8, but that wasn't clean through there, so he hasn't been able to extend the gap here out to Glovas. A minute and a half left of the race before the checkered flag will come out for our drivers. It is lap 30 right now. We'll see where our leader is, but many of the drivers here will only complete this lap. It will be their final lap, but I'm not convinced it will be for Vic. He could decide though to save himself a lap and everybody else behind and wait potentially. We'll see. Here is Preston pressuring Copa. That gap was a lot larger, and Preston has managed these tyres better, I have to say, than Copa, who might have turned the engine down. Copa, I think, has underfueled the car, and not for the first time in this 2024 racing season, but Preston side by side with Copa, who tries to hang on through Ascari corner. They touch going through Ascari. That was almost a complete and total disaster, but Copa has a red flashing light on his fuel tank. Preston is absolutely pinned to the bulkhead on his accelerator, and he can go deeper into Parabolica corner. Copa may have made the decision there to hold on to the slipstream just so that he can power on down this start finish line at full throttle. The first three drivers will pass the start-finish line for the next one as Preston goes into that second place. Daddenson will have to do an extra lap as well, I think, as he crosses the line. We're about to get the first of our results, though. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Izzy has passed the line, but it will be TX Zen will cross the line. No, they're ahead early. It is now the final lap, excuse me. Bongit is the first to cross the line in the end. Crazy stuff from them, and that was very late. I think they passed the the finish line instead of the start line. But Vic leads us by 13.3 seconds. Preston, look at the advantage he's got with Copa trying to limp home here and hang on to a podium in the end. Looks like the fuel is definitely an issue for the Frenchman racing out of Florida. It is Daddenson in fourth, and he has plenty of fuel, too much fuel, you have to say, to the finish here. Chaotica is in a similar position to Copa, running home on fumes. Preston is in second place. One more obstacle for Vic because he survives Ascari for 31 consecutive laps. He's heading in towards the Parabolica corner then for the final time. Looks like Copa just about has the performance here left in the Ferrari. Vic will exit the Parabolica Alboreto corner, and the Gucci-sponsored Lamborghini Huracan, driven by Vic in his home race, is going to win in Monza, the opener of the season. Congratulations to him, as Preston, with a tremendous nab of second place right at the end of the race, will come home in that on the podium. And Daddenson has got Copa in the end. I think that is going to be a fuel situation. Here is Copa. How slow is he? 132, 145. He's definitely turned the engine down. Copa doesn't want to hit the low fuel mode. He's holding the inside line, but Daddenson gets that position into the end. And Daddenson debuts with Deviant, and he secures himself an amazing third position there at the end. What a tremendous debut for him. In the end, it is victory for Vic, appropriately enough. And here then are your finishing order, your provisional finishing order then for everybody. That is Vic ahead of Preston with Daddenson, the 10 or 11-year-old driver in P3, just 20.2 seconds behind Vic in the end. Looks like Chaotica and Faciar got Copa on the line. That's so upsetting for him, who was on for second place in the end. If he just added an extra seconds worth of fuel, Copa P6. Izzy in P7 with TX Speedstars in P8. Creamy in 9th, Zen in 10th, Asian Persuasion in 11th, Bongit in 12th. A very disappointing race, I think, for Bongit and for Glovas, finishing 12th and 13th. Big thank you to Sully for driving the safety car today, and for everybody who took their time out of their busy Sunday to enjoy the race live with us. We're so thrilled to be back with Deviant here on the channel. I'm so glad to have everybody back. Please make sure you check out the tips button, the thanks button underneath. I'd love it if you did press the new hype button as well, but minimum, please, if you can, like the video, subscribe, and we will catch you on the next race day.